Mars is the god of war. Throughout the ages, it appears that Mars has been shaped by a series of explosive and violent events, much like the aftermath of a great battle. The desolate landscape that we see before us reminds me of the cataclysmic conclusion of Zack Snyder's Justice League, where super beings have ravaged the once fertile atmosphere of Earth. We must ponder whether the current state of this planet is due to natural phenomena or the folly and arrogance of intelligent beings who once inhabited its lush terrain. But before we slide deeper down that rabbit hole, if you're a fan of exploring fringe topics, uncovering the nature of things that go bump in the night, or just generally uncovering the secrets of the universe, then you've arrived at the right channel, and we'll be blowing your mind at least once a week. You know what to do. Like and subscribe and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our reality-shattering content. Now, let's see what's come across the Enigma Desk.
The views expressed in this video are not necessarily shared by the video's creator. This is meant to be an objective presentation of alternative viewpoints and topics not normally discussed in mainstream society. Do your own research. Do your own soul search.
For centuries, we have been captivated by the notion of life on Mars. Even in the 1800s, esteemed scientists claimed to have witnessed canals and activity on the planet's surface through their telescopes. In the early 1900s, an American astronomer by the name of Percival Lowell popularized his theory of life on the barren planet, and soon after, great authors such as H.G. Wells and Edgar Rice Burroughs imagined their own versions of the planet's inhabitants. Wells imagined a colonial civilization on the brink of invading Earth and seizing our resources, while Burroughs envisioned a proud but divided people torn apart by civil war. Quoting from Richard Hoagland's book, The Monuments of Mars, Lowell's conception of a dying, increasingly desiccated planet on which the inhabitants were eternally engaged in a never-ending battle for survival against the inevitable caught popular imagination like nothing else in the science of the period. H.G. Wells turned Lowell's portrayal of a race of valiant Martians into a race of imperialistic and ruthless Martians who would stop at nothing, including an invasion of the Earth in their pursuit of water and a new beginning for their dying civilization. The planet that these epic space voyages revealed, our probes, was orders of magnitude more hostile than even the most severe Lowell critic of that era could have ever imagined. End quote. The findings of our probe sent to Mars have thus yielded little evidence of active civilization on the planet, or so we are told. However, it is important to note that these probes have uncovered a wealth of information that suggests the red planet was once teeming with life. Alas, the probes also provided evidence of how this life was extinguished. In the 1970s, the two NASA Viking probes transmitted over 50,000 images, as well as soil and atmospheric samples. Among the most breathtaking of these images was one from a region known as Cydonia. It appeared to show a grand visage, a face, carved into the surface of a mountain and staring into the infinite expanse of space. Other images displayed structures reminiscent of the pyramids of Giza, though much grander and more intricate. These pictures stirred the imagination of many and even made their way into popular culture, as evidenced by their mention on Rush Limbaugh's talk show.
As I mentioned recently, ladies and gentlemen, after reviewing data from one of the Mars rovers, NASA, big press conference the other day, concluded that Mars was once drenched with enough water to support life in a good, habitable environment.
The revelation of the monumental face and the pyramids at Cydonia, in conjunction with atmospheric readings that we shall delve into further, indicate the existence of a once thriving civilization on Mars that has since perished. Quoting again from Hoagland's Monuments of Mars, quote, "What we are apparently seeing at Cydonia was a fascinating, almost inescapable extension of the overwhelming social and technical necessities of interstellar flight, an entire culture which, after flying through interstellar space for who knows how long, had created an insulated, self-sustaining, miniaturized superorganism on the planet they eventually chose to live on. With Earth so close and so available, why did they choose Mars?" End quote. Great question. If indeed a civilization existed on the red planet millions of years ago, it stands to reason that they possessed highly advanced technology, enabling them to construct such awe-inspiring superstructures. In all likelihood, they also possessed other forms of advanced technology, which would be akin to magic to our comparatively primitive minds. They may have even wielded doomsday weapons and possessed starships beyond our wildest imaginations. Despite initial excitement at the discovery of the enigmatic face on Mars, subsequent probes have claimed claimed that it was merely a play of light and shadow. However, some ardent believers view this as a deliberate ploy by the powerful to conceal the truth about the once thriving civilization on the Martian surface. What motivations lie behind this dissembling of the truth? In 2012, plasma physicist John Brandenburg released the book Life and Death on Mars, which detailed a remarkable discovery. After examining atmospheric measurements from the red planet, Brandenburg found an excessive amount of the noble gas Xenon 129. According to human understanding, this could only mean one thing. Quoting from the book, this is a passage where Dr. Brandenburg is sharing the measurements with another scientist. Quote, "The numbers had jumped off the page because they were so different than Earth. In particular, Xenon 129 was superabundant in the Mars atmosphere, compared to other isotopes," I mentioned. He looked at me in sudden astonishment, his smile vanishing. "Can I see that?" he asked. And I handed him the book open to the page with a table of atmospheric isotope concentrations, since I was about to copy it. He frowned deeply, and then looked very troubled. "Somebody nuked them," he said suddenly. "That's what the Xenon 129 superabundance means." The words pierced my soul like a blade of ice. He handed back the book and stared at me wordlessly, letting the words sink in. End quote. The noble gas Xenon 129, found in great excess within the atmosphere of Mars, can only be explained by one method known to humanity: nuclear explosions. Quoting again from Brandenburg's book, "The Xenon 129 was apparently produced directly in hydrogen bomb tests on Earth because, in advanced hydrogen bomb designs, the hydrogen bomb core is wrapped in uranium or thorium to boost the explosive power by the fission of the uranium-thorium jacket, under bombardment by high-energy neutrons from the hydrogen fusion reactions. This violent shattering of the uranium and thorium nuclei by the high-energy fusion neutron apparently created large amounts of Xenon 129. Bottom line, the unique Xenon 129 superabundance in Mars' atmosphere is not consistent with any known natural process, but rather matches the Xenon 129 superabundance in the component of Earth's atmosphere due to hydrogen bomb testing. The Mars Krypton data is also consistent with this interpretation." End quote. It wasn't only the Xenon which betrayed the truth about the warlike past of the Red Planet. Other elements were also present which pointed at nuclear destruction in the distant past. For decades, we have known that Mars was once a warm and wet planet with conditions that could have easily supported life. So why is it now so inhospitable? While modern science suggests a natural process as the cause, there is another possibility: a catastrophic nuclear war laid waste to the fertile Martian landscape. Dr. Brandenburg delved into the mystery of Mars and uncovered a startling truth. The levels of Xenon and other elements on the planet point to a violent past, with nuclear destruction as the likely cause. Brandenburg even calculated the size of the weapons used, determining that they must have been as tall as the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building on Earth. Simply massive. Intriguing possibilities arise if the hypothesis of a nuclear war on Mars is proven true. The technological advancements of the ancient Martians would far outstrip our own capabilities in the early 21st century. As Brandenburg postulates, the massive weapon responsible for the destruction must have been deployed from a weapons platform in orbit above the planet. A chilling notion indeed.
I say we take off and nuke the entire site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
Fucking A.
Oh, hold on 1 second.
But the most vexing question remains: who were the combatants in this distant conflict of the past? During the height of the Cold War, Western intelligence turned to an unconventional tactic to gain a military edge: psychic spies. These remarkable individuals employed a technique called remote viewing, allowing them to project their consciousness to any point in time and space under the right conditions. One such psychic spy, Joe McMoneagle, was enlisted by the CIA to venture into the ancient past of Mars. What he uncovered could provide invaluable insight into the identity of the warring factions that unleashed the catastrophic nuclear exchange on the Red Planet. Quoting from Reza Jorjani's book, Closer Encounters, McMoneagle was tasked to go back to Mars 1 million BC, and the specific coordinates given were those of the Cydonia region. He reported that he saw blasted and ruined megalithic structures that were titanic in scale, engulfed in terrible sandstorms and swallowed by desert dunes. He got the impression of shadows of people who once were, but who are no longer there. So the interviewer asked McMoneagle to go back further, to a time when the people who had built those structures were still there. End quote. Jason Reza Jorjani is one of the primary researchers in the subject of ancient Martian civilization. His book compiles information into a stunning narrative theory that upends most of our presumptions about the nature of Mars and reality itself. The fact that the CIA was employing remote viewers to view the surface of Mars at Cydonia means that they took the Viking probe images very seriously. Quoting again from Closer Encounters. McMonagall saw a massive, high-precision megalithic city. There were towering pyramids and other polygonal buildings, long paved avenues and obelisks. Most intriguing is his description of a network of intersecting channels cut deeply into the surface of Mars, with paved roads at the bottom of them. Was this a highway system for some kind of hover vehicles that would be shielded from the storms on the surface by these trenches? He noticed that the sun was weird-looking, which, to an Earthling's eye, it would be, since Mars is further from the sun than from Earth. Interestingly, not knowing that he was tasked to view Mars 1 million years before present, as that's how remote viewing works, McMonagall kept getting the impression that he might be in ancient Egypt, except for the fact that the scale of the structures was too large and the people there did not look like Egyptians. The people were European-looking in phenotype, but very tall and lanky. They wore what he described as skin-tight, silken clothes. McMonagall had 3 psychic impressions about these people that are very relevant to the thesis being advanced in this book. First, he said that he kept having the impression that he was looking at the future, and that these people represented some further evolutionary stage of humanity, as if we mutated 6 times over the next 10,000 years. End quote. If the results of this declassified CIA project, links below, are to be believed, Mars was once inhabited by a highly advanced race of beings possessing a strikingly Nordic appearance. These extraterrestrial architects constructed colossal structures such as the enigmatic Cydonia face. Yet, like many civilizations before them, they pursued the path of technological progress, inevitably leading to the development of weapons of immense destructive power. Alas, it appears that this same weaponry may have proved to be their undoing. But let me ask you this, dear viewer, did every last one of them perish in that ancient nuclear holocaust, or were there survivors, descendants of a once great people? And as we ponder these mysteries, let us not forget the most pressing question of all: who was behind the firing of the Burj Khalifa nuke? After World War II, the idea of unidentified flying objects and extraterrestrial life captured the collective imagination. In this era, tales of UFO contact and close encounters were in vogue, and the very image of the gray alien was yet to take root in public consciousness. Among the most widely documented cases of UFO contactees is that of Billy Meier, a former assassin turned farmer. Meier claimed to have been in consistent contact with a group of tall, fair-haired, and distinctly Nordic beings hailing from a distant star system in the Pleiades, beginning in the 1940s. His remarkable claims are supported by photographic and video evidence, yet they have also attracted their share of critics. Nonetheless, Meier's account has stood the test of time and continues to inspire devoted believers to this day. And as we delve deeper into this story, one cannot help draw parallels to the very type of beings that remote viewer McMonagall claimed to have witnessed on ancient Mars. Consider also the curious case of George Adamski, an early contactee who made extraordinary claims of communicating with beings from the planet Venus. These visitors, he alleged, were tall, fair-haired, and possessed an otherworldly aura that captivated the imagination of many. Strangely enough, his photographs of these beings bear a striking resemblance to those of Billy Meier. Yet, this poses an intriguing conundrum. Why is it that one group of Nordic beings hails from Venus, while the other is said to come from a distant star system many light years away? Seems inconsistent. Quoting again from Jorjani's Closer Encounters. Back in the 1950s and 60s, most close encounters were with tall white people, who came to be known as Nordics. They are called that because they have a Northern European phenotype, albeit with very sharp and chiseled features and an exceptionally broad and tall forehead. All of them appear very athletic, but in a lean fashion, not like bodybuilders. They have exceptionally long arms and the hands of pianists. Their height ranges anywhere from 5'6" to 9 feet. Everyone who encounters them says that these Nordics walk with a majestic, elegant, and rhythmical gait. End quote. Another early contactee who was an aviator who worked for Lockheed Martin named George van Tassel. He too contacted tall white Nordic beings claiming to be from Venus. Quoting again from Closer Encounters. Beginning in August of 1953, he, George van Tassel, met regularly with Nordic-looking extraterrestrials who were dressed in seamless gray bodysuits and who spoke English. The craft that landed on his airstrip at Giant Rock was bell-shaped, although it tapered into a saucer, approximately 30 feet in diameter. The visitors supposedly came from Venus, and they taught him to build a structure with properties that could dramatically extend human life. End quote. Constructed solely of concrete and wood, this edifice was created according to the instructions of these beings. And why, you may ask, did these enigmatic entities dictate such an unusual design? It is said that metal, a common building material, hinders the very fabric of psychic communication, a peculiar notion, yet one that may hold the key to unlocking one of the secrets of our universe. Submitted for your consideration, a curious collection of 3 accounts featuring Nordic beings with a cryptic message of nuclear disarmament for the survival of mankind. For this is one of the other things that ties these 3 cases together. But what other secrets lies in the depths of this extraterrestrial mystery? Is it possible, as some speculate, that these tall, fair-haired entities once inhabited the red planet of Mars, only to meet their demise by the very weapons they warned us about? And if so, how did they manage to endure for millions upon millions of years, to reach our humble planet with a cautionary tale? As we ponder this peculiar possibility, we must also question the discrepancies among these stories told by these alien Nordic emissaries. Could there be something more ominous lurking beneath the surface of their seemingly benevolent message? The answers elude us, as time remains a stubborn adversary in the quest for the truth. But one thing is certain: these enigmatic Nordic beings and their unsettling story have left an indelible mark on the annals of human encounters with the unknown. Are they truly visitors from beyond our world, or could their origins be much closer than they would have us believe? For some, the possibility exists that these fair-haired entities may be deceiving us, manipulating our understanding of the universe to suit their own enigmatic purposes. A sobering thought, and one that raises a multitude of questions. What secrets do these beings hold, and what are their true intentions? And if their origins are indeed closer to home, what implications might this have for the very fabric of our understanding of the cosmos? As we venture forth into the next video, we must be prepared to question all that we think we know. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please like, subscribe, and follow. You can also follow us on TikTok, YouTube, Odyssey, and Rumble. And if you want me to keep doing these videos, please support me over on Subscribestar, Locals, or Cash App. Links below.